What's going on? It's Mehdi, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the ultimate tier list where I rank your favorite marketers from God tier to absolutely shite. Because I've spent the past 9 years in business, and you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, how can this sexy, handsome motherfucker have been in business for the past 9 years? He looks super young. And you're right, I am young, and I am sexy, and I am handsome. But I did start my first business at the age of 14. I dropped out at 15, and I have built a business that has generated over $4 million. So I might know a thing or two about building businesses. If not, then the one thing I do know is my caffeine consumption is way too high. In fact, I drink enough caffeine on a day-to-day basis to make a horse run faster than a Porsche. And I'm talking 911 Turbo S. So without further ado, let's fucking get into this video. Grab your coffee cup and let's go. All right, let's start with this tier list. I know I'm gonna develop a lot of enemies after this, but what fun is it if you don't have some enemies? With building enemies, you also build an army, right? And quote me on that shit. Go put that on your wall somewhere and say, Mehdi, 2024, end of 2024. Maybe it's 2025 when you're watching this. Point of the matter is, Charlie Morgan. So he's a social media marketing agency owner. And from what I've seen recently, he pretty much helps business owners and agency owners get more bookings or 5K in cash, something along those lines, right? Now, I personally like the guy. I think he's a great guy. I like his content. His ads are no bullshit. I like his funnels because he has like this no bullshit approach. He'll sit there and say, this is a sales video designed to sell you something. So I like his no bullshit approach, and he's done incredibly well. If I'm not mistaken, I think his agency generates about $1 million a month. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him in to legend. Next up, we have Dan Lok. Now, this guy, I used to watch his videos back in the day, and he does some questionable shit, right? Personally, for me, I feel like his style is a bit too gimmicky, and it's more like, you don't feel like you're speaking to the real Dan Lok. It's more like, I am Dan Lok, and this is the best sales training in the world. And personally, I don't relate to that kind of style. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him into, because I've learned some decent things from him, like maybe one or two things, but the rest, not so good, okay? Now, next up, we have Luke Belmar. Fucking love the guy. He is a very interesting character. If Luke Belmar, if we could have aliens on Earth, like if there was real evidence of aliens being on Earth, Luke Belmar would definitely be an alien that landed out of fucking Mars or Pluto. Him and Elon Musk are like blood related in some sort of way, I'm telling you right now. But his marketing is incredible. Now, I think the reason Luke has done so well for himself is because he has a unique way of breaking things down. Whenever he speaks, he goes out there and uses like Chinese proverbs to make his point. He's very knowledgeable. He has an incredible communication style that just exuberates on videos or podcasts that he does. And it always feels like whenever you're listening to Luke Belmar speak, you know, he's telling you some underground, deep CIA level grade information that you shouldn't know. So I like Luke. His marketing style is very interesting as well. I spoke with a few guys that have spoken to Luke, and he has a business model where he literally has a team of 100 editors, you know, overseas somewhere that all clip up a bunch of videos and post a shitload of content. So it's unique. It's something different. It's the style that I think he's an early adopter of. So I'm going to go ahead and put him into legend as well. Okay. Next up, we have Brandon Carter. So Brandon Carter has literally been on YouTube since the dawn of time. This guy has had abs since before abs were found. So incredible guy. He has a very interesting style of speaking where he just does not give a shit. Like this guy is not afraid to speak his mind, and I absolutely love that about him. And he's incredibly successful as well. I think last I checked, his YouTube channel has over 1 million subs. His Instagram following has over 1 million followers. And I've seen a lot of his ads pop up on my YouTube and Instagram, and they convert incredibly well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him up inside a legend. Definitely, he belongs there. Now, Brandon Kane, if you don't know who Brandon Kane is, he wrote a couple of books. One was called Hook Point, right? And he's worked with some incredible marketers to really help them master the short form game, because we are in the attention currency deficit of 2025, where people have the attention span of a goldfish. And Brandon Carter teaches you how to capitalize on that goldfish attention span. So he's pretty good. I've read a few of his books. I've watched a couple of his talks that he's done on stage. So he's decent. I would put him in the decent range. There's nothing wow about Brandon Kane. If you listen to him for so long, like for me personally, I get a bit bored. So I play his videos on 1.5x/2x speed. but he's decent. You'll learn a thing or two from him. William Brown, my next door neighbor. So Will, I just recently heard about him this year, funny enough. I saw a guy that exited an info space company for $25 million, which is incredible because, funny enough, even being in business for a while, I just didn't know that people were buying info companies for that amount of money, right? And this guy just pops up on YouTube with one of the most interesting styles of YouTube videos I've ever seen, where he just sits there and says, "Hey guys, it's Will." And he'll go into a 20-minute rampage of, well, you know, why it's important to scale an info business, some strategies, some good shit. And I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. He's an interesting guy. He definitely prints with his business model. His strategies seem to be effective. But Will, if you're watching this, I love you, but your videos can get very fucking boring after the 5 to 10 minute mark. So I'm gonna put you in decent, okay? Will belongs in decent. Donald Trump, this is where I'm gonna develop a lot of enemies because I can either put him in shite or God tier, right? I know a lot of people have strong political views on Donald Trump. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right away. I think the man is a fucking genius. He runs one of the biggest countries in the entire world. He pretty much single-handedly sold an entire nation on why they should elect him to run, you know, their lives and the decisions for the country over the next few years. So I think Donald Trump is an incredible businessman. He is hilarious to watch in interviews when people ask him outlandish questions. And I think he's an incredible marketer because if he was able to convince an entire country to elect him as president, he belongs in God tier, right? So that's my opinion on Donald Trump. You can argue with me in the comment section below. Next up, we have Gary Vee. Okay, Gary Vee, some people like him, some people hate him, some people are just kind of in the middle with him, right? I personally think Gary Vee, if Nice was like a human businessman, it would be Gary Vee, okay? I think he's an incredible guy. He called Uber way before Uber was like, you know, big. So if you listen to some of his calls, if you guys know Alex Becker, who we're gonna move on to in a second, this guy literally calls out crypto altcoins, right? So when it comes to marketing, Gary Vee is like the Alex Becker of the marketing world. Whatever he calls out just seems to do fucking well. The guy predicted that Musical.ly would turn into TikTok and just explode. And he was absolutely fucking right. So hard to ignore Gary Vee. Before we had the Hormozi style of doing Instagram videos, it was the Gary Vee style, right? So it would be rude for me not to put him in God tier. I think he's incredible. Okay, another controversial one. Andrew motherfucking Tate. Some people are gonna say, I fucking hate the guy, his marketing tactics are sleazy, da-da-da. I think Andrew Tate is an incredible guy. I think, like, as a business owner, if you understand sales, if you understand marketing, he has some incredible concepts. In fact, there's 3 things that Andrew Tate has just done incredibly well that I think so many people can learn from, whether they like him or hate him, right? Don't fucking shoot the messenger, appreciate the message of the person. So I think Tate has used the us versus them because he's coined the term matrix and brokies. Like, if you look at the majority of people, right, whether they're high-level business owners and entrepreneurs, especially here in Dubai, everyone says brokies, right? Everyone says the matrix. So I don't know who your circle is, but I know the people around me. But essentially, I would say Tate has mastered us versus them. He's created an enemy out of the matrix. He's polarizing as hell, and I've seen a lot of marketers follow suit. And he's grown an incredibly large following. Like, the guy has literally gone from being known by nobody to one of the most Googled people on the planet, which is nothing short of incredible. So, and he's killed the affiliate model, right? So at one point when he launched his first program, Hustlers University, there was so many people selling it. Like, you just see Tate clips on YouTube, and then in the comment section below, links and affiliate links to Hustlers University. So the guy has printed an incredible amount of money out of thin air and just building attention. I have to put him in God tier, okay? Alex Becker, right? So if you've been around the marketing space for a while, you know who Alex Becker is. I mean, he was literally the guy that would pull up on YouTube ads 24/7. And just reminds me, I missed out Ty Lopez. But in the comments below, write down any other marketers that I missed that you want me to do in the next video. But Alex Becker would literally pop up with the most outlandish shit. I remember he had like an Iron Man USB, and he would just pop up. He was in this like basement looking thing with his McLaren in the back saying, this product made my clients this amount of money, right? So he was killing the dropshipping game for a while. And I think that, especially with the dropshipping side, he was one of the first guys to really build a profitable info space course around it and a program. So the guy's been around for as long as time. He's moved into the SaaS business model. So he now sells Hyros. If you guys run ads, it's AI print tracking. Do I know what AI print tracking is? No, but it's what, Alex Becker uses to get, business owners like myself, like you guys, cheaper ads, right? So I think what he's done is nothing short of incredible as well. I have to put him in legendary status. Now, Iman Gadzhi. So I have mixed opinions on Iman, right? I don't know whether I should like him or dislike him. I don't dislike the guy. I just don't connect with him the same way that some people do. I know some people like fanboy over Iman. They start dressing like him. They wear like the Laurel Pianas and they try to wear like the same shit that he does, even do their hair like him and talk like him. I don't know, he just doesn't click with me, right? I think his marketing is incredible, right? I think he's an expert at gathering a shitload of attention on YouTube, Instagram, and I've been seeing that he's been killing the short form game recently as well. He's definitely cleaned up with his social media marketing agency courses. But for me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Iman. I've never really like sat down and studied Iman's videos or courses or programs. So I'm gonna put him in decent. I got nothing against the guy. I think he's a nice guy, but I don't personally click with him, right? Grant Cardone. Now, again, I think a lot of people have mixed opinions on Grant Cardone. I'm gonna put him in God tier, and then I'm gonna explain to you why. So when I was first starting out as a business owner, the one skill that has made me an incredible amount of money is sales, right? And I've seen a lot of guys' sales courses, like Jeremy Minor, who also like people worship his like sales style. But the one guy's sales style that I really resonated with is Grant Cardone, because he'd pick up the phone and say, hey, why haven't you purchased from us today? And he had like a direct cut through the bullshit approach. He's good at dumbing things down. And I would often watch this guy's YouTube videos whenever I was like stuck and, needed some help or some guidance from Uncle G. I had the pleasure of, meeting him in person as well at an event back in 2019, which was fucking sick. So Grant Cardone is in the God tier for me. For his real estate stuff, I'm not a big fan. If I was ranking him on real estate, I'd probably put him in meh or shite. But if we're going just based off marketing alone, for me, he's got to go into God tier. Patrick Bet David. Now, this guy is instantly God tier. There's something about this guy, the way he carries himself, the way he talks. He could be like ex-military and ex-mafia at the same time, right? I remember watching a video, and if you haven't, I'm gonna like link it here, even though I shouldn't be linking other people's videos to my channel, because I want you guys to stick around and subscribe. But there's a video from Patrick Bet David that I used to watch that was called like the 90-second motivation that you need as an entrepreneur. It was the best fucking video. Like the guy would say, I went through countless rejections and now I'm driving my Ferrari. And I remember watching that like 15 years old. And I was like, this is the fucking most amazing video I've ever watched. And at the time he was driving like a Ferrari 458. And that was my dream car. I was like, I want to be like this guy. So he had another book that I read as well. I forgot the label, but good book. Helped me definitely transform my mindset. Patrick Bet David, God tier. Now, next up, we have Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson, nothing short of incredible. This guy is a fucking gangster of all gangsters. Like, first, when I listened to Russell Brunson, I didn't quite click with him. I thought he was like too polished, too salesy, and he just didn't click with me. And I think when I really started to like Russell is when I started to study his books. Like I was running my business, generating leads, like booking in sales calls, and I'd get stuck. And I was like, why is it that guys like Russell, like people worship him, right? Like, why is it that they want to become these funnel hackers and go to these events and jump up and down? Like, what is it that he's doing that I'm not? And that's when I started reading his books. And I remember reading Expert Secrets and learning about his webinar frameworks and stuff like that. And I was like, fuck, this is what I've been missing. And I implemented it. I created my own version of it that I now call my Client Conversion Accelerator. And that helped me start getting conversions every 24 to 72 hours. I remember literally after reading that book, I went out there and implemented, a new VSL following some of his method and some of my own. And I remember literally the following month, I went from a 20K month in my business to my first ever 50K month. And I owe it to Mr. Russell Brunson. So he's a gangster. Neil Patel. So if you Google best marketers, Neil Patel is almost guaranteed to come up. I don't know who this guy has bribed. I don't know who owes him money, okay, in Google, but he always ranks to the top. And a lot of guys respect him, you know, they look up to him. And I've actually had the pleasure of meeting him as well at an event about a year ago. And he's an interesting guy. He's another one of those guys that just feels like he just came from outer space. He doesn't feel like an earthling. He feels like he just fucking landed out of space onto Earth. Even when he speaks, he has like a very interesting way of speaking. It's like he has a personality, then he turns it off. But if we're going just based off marketing, do I think he's a good marketer? Yes and no, right? Like he's more behind the scenes. His style of marketing is going out there and, you know, generating a bunch of tools that people want, you know, collecting their emails, blogs, SEO, that's his style. Is it my style? No. Do I buy from that style of marketing? No. So he's a legend for a lot of people, but for me personally, I'm gonna put him in meh, right? Just doesn't click with me. Now, the next guy we have, Sabri Suby. I click with this guy. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that we both wear skin-tight black t-shirts to show off our incredible gains from the gym, okay? But the point is, I watched a lot of Sabri's YouTube videos. I read his books, Sell Like Crazy as well. And I think the way he positions his marketing is amazing. If there was one guy's style of marketing that I think everybody should try and emulate or learn something from and adapt, it's Sabri Suby. He owns King Kong Marketing. I don't know if I fucking said that wrong, but the point of the matter is he has sold an incredible amount of his books, amount of his, you know, programs. So I'm going to put him in legendary status. Now, Rabi Abuvala. Interestingly enough, a lot of people have told me about Rabi for a long time, okay? And I kind of ignored it. I was like, who's this Rabi guy? Why does everyone keep going on about him? And then I discovered him. And he's an interesting guy, I have to say. His YouTube videos, in my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say this, I think are the best YouTube videos in the business scaling niche aside from mine, okay? But at the end of the day, I think he does an incredible job at pre-selling through his content, especially his YouTube strategy. I think he does a great job in selling through his VSLs. And he's a funny guy. Like if you watch his more recent videos, I saw an ad for him the other day where he did that video where it's like you're driving past and then you see the guy on the left and then all of a sudden he's in your back seat saying, hey, do you want to get more clients for your business? So I'm going to go ahead and put Rabi in decent and soon to become legend. Actually, I'm going to put him in legend because I would actually personally buy from Rabi based on everything I've seen. Now, Cole Gordon, the sales expert. This guy has literally taken the industry by storm. I've spoken to guys that have, you know, worked on a sales team and have told me the numbers that this guy is pulling in. And it's nothing short of crazy, like $2 million months, cash collected. So Cole Gordon has definitely shaped the high ticket space quite a lot. Do I learn from him often? Not really, right? Should I learn from him more? Probably. But I would say I don't follow him enough to want to rank him at a higher rate. I'm going to put him in decent for now. And Hormozi, this might be the most controversial one. I'm joking. I'm not going to put him in shite. But I like Hormozi. I think when I first discovered Hormozi, I was thinking to myself, who the fuck is this guy? You know, this guy's like jacked. He's like 6 foot tall, you know, pretty much a walking, talking muscle. Like if Liver King was an entrepreneur, it would be Hormozi, right? Like the guys are like subconscious Siamese twins or whatever you call it, right? But the point of the matter is, I think Hormozi is pretty fucking cool. He shaped the industry. He created the Hormozi style. He's popularized short form content in the way it has. And it's almost like he shifted the industry or has a big part in shifting the industry to where it's at. So I like Hormozi. I think he's pretty cool. I'd love to go to one of his events. I haven't yet, but I think everything that him and Sam Ovens are doing with the school games and just school in general is incredible. So that is my tier list, okay? This is my first time doing a tier list on YouTube, but if you want me to do another tier list and you feel like I've missed out any list of marketers, comment them in the comment section below, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.